Hey guys, welcome back. I was searching for videos for hours today, and I found some really good ones on people's experience as the quote unquote fat friend. And then I found Zogi the Gemini, that is this YouTuber's name, and her take on the quote unquote fat friend is awesome. So, with that being said, let's hear what she has to say.
Some straight five people need to have the fat friend in order to feel good about themselves. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zogi and I'm a Gemini, which is why this channel is called Zogi the Gemini. Now today guys, I'm talking about a topic that is a very uncomfortable topic, and I don't feel like it's actually being discussed. It may have, but from the research I've done, I haven't seen anyone talk about this subject, and that is the fact that some straight five people need to have the fat friend in order to feel good about themselves. Now I know that's a very controversial statement to make, but let me explain exactly what I mean. And before we get into the video, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Now let's get into this video. So with this particular topic at hand, I will be lying to you guys to say I'm talking from personal experience, because I've seen it happen so many times that I literally made it my life goal not to become the fat friend to straight five people. Cool. Now I need to clarify, the fat friend is not having a fat friend. There's a difference. The fat friend differs from having a friend that is just bigger. The fat friend is a character within itself, is an entity within itself that obviously can only be assigned to people that are bigger. Now the fat friend usually is riddled with body insecurities, most of the time also had a very traumatic childhood when it came to bullying, body shaming, which right now it actually sounds like every big person out there. But this is where the fat friend differs from just a bigger person. The fat friend normally knows that the friends they've had, sometimes it's like family friends or just friends from childhood, they know that their friends that they roll around are not good friends. They know that their friend purposely puts them, the fat friend, in uncomfortable situations. They've told their friend, oh, I don't like so and so, but the friend, because they want to feel good about themselves, they ensure that they take the fat friend to situations that they're uncomfortable with.
I don't know if this is so true nowadays, but I know when I was in school, there were girls that sometimes would do that. And sometimes they would even make comments like, yeah, I like to hang out with this friend, for such and such reason. And they wouldn't always be the nicest things, right? If you are this person that's been in this quote unquote role, have you ever noticed that sometimes friends weren't really good friends at all? And were you in a situation where you ended up going and hanging out with those people anyway? If you went through that experience, sometimes high school and when you're young, sometimes those things can happen. Let me know down in the comments.
But the fat friend stays there because they almost have like an emotional bondage. They found it hard making friends. So even though these straight side friends they have always throw shades at them, always make sneak disses, they feel compelled to stay within that friendship, because it's either they just want to be part of a friendship group, they want to feel like they belong to something. They just don't want to cut ties with those straight side women, even though their so-called friends have made numerous comments about how they look, their body shape, ridicule them, but they just can't let go.
That's what I was trying to say. She put it into words much better than I did. You don't want to hang out with these people, but at the same time, it's better than the alternative, which is to hang out with nobody. If you were ever in that spot and you had to do what you had to do just so you had somewhat of a social life, definitely let us know.
Of them friends. Now that is the fat friends that I feel like some straight sized people need in order for them to feel good about themselves. But let's talk about the other entity, which is the straight sized friend that needs the fat friend in order to feel good about herself. Now this straight side friend most of the time is mid-average, average at best. So they are not necessarily upheld as opposed to child of societal beauty, but they are not ridiculed like the fat friend. But that straight side friend most of the time have raging insecurities within themselves that they need someone there to project their insecurity on. That's why that straight side friend needs the fat friend friend, because that straight size friend is very aware of how society treats that fat friend. That straight size friend is very aware that that fat friend has insecurities that a lot of people feel like they need to be insecure about. Do you know what I mean? Like if a fat person wants to tell you they're not insecure, people look at them like, huh? You're not insecure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Do you know what I mean? Whereas if
I feel like this person is speaking facts. Zogi, the Gemini, has so much confidence, it just exudes off of her. And every word out of her mouth is very reminiscent of what I remember from back in the day. A lot of these girls would be kind of average, but they would try to elevate themselves by putting down their friend. And a lot of times their friend was super cool.
If a straight size girl was to tell you, oh, I'm not insecure about my legs, people will be like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? But if a bigger girl was to tell you, oh, I'm insecure about my arms, they'll be like, makes sense. Do you know what I mean? That straight size friend knows that and uses it to her advantage. Now, I feel like this particular type of straight size friend is the one of the most dangerous you will find. Now, if you are not understanding already, please understand that I'm not talking about straight size people in general, nor am I talking about big people in general. I'm talking about a specific character that exists within a group of people, a specific character that exists within bigger women, and a specific character that exists in straight size women. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I've always known this to be a fact, but I know that this is all hush hush. It's hush hush. It's something that we all know goes on, but we don't talk about it. But I've always felt that that specific straight size friend that needs the existence of the fat friend is one of the most dangerous. And the reason why I find them so dangerous and scary to an extent is because they are aware of how society treats their fat friend, and they put their fat friend in situations that will make them feel good about themselves, especially when it comes to boys. Boys will notice the weight of someone before they notice the face. Now, if a girl wants validation about how she feels, some girls are wired so weirdly that by boys invalidating the beauty of a friend or someone they are supposed to be friends with, it makes them feel good about themselves. Does that make sense? And the straight side.
Guys, not only does that make sense, but sometimes you have to get away from toxic friends. What she's describing there is the reality that happens. Sometimes when you take a look at your 3 or 4 girlfriends out there, ladies, sometimes you're going to find that one of them is just like what she's describing. And here's the crazy thing. She brings up a really neat, excellent point. They are dangerous. These are the type of people that'll put you in those weird, awkward situations just so they can kind of come out on top. It's really bizarre. I can't really put words to it, but I know exactly what she's saying. She does deserve a thumbs up on her videos. She spits facts.
Friend knows that. So the fat friend would have told them, oh, I don't really like when there's just bare boys there or there's a lot of guys there. Like, can we go to someone that's mixed? Straight fat friend will be like, okay, and she will still take the bigger friend to that place. She will still put the big friend, she will still put the fat friend in uncomfortable situations because she is fully aware of the comments that will be made towards the fat friend. And what would this girl do? She'll be like, oh, stop it, man. No, you guys are rude. Like, that's my friend, you know. Don't talk to my friend like that. We all seen girls like this. We all seen girls like this. Like, don't talk to my friend. That they are smiling whilst their friend is being absolutely annihilated. But it makes them feel good. It makes them feel better about themselves. Now, if you're watching this, and I know I have a lovely family, yeah? I call you guys my family, my YouTube family. I know that fat friend is existing within my lovely family, yeah? And I'm making this video to say, my sister, enough is enough. You know those girls are not your friends. Those girls always put you in situations that you hate. Those girls always make you feel bad about yourself. Those girls will be so quick to comment about what you're wearing and how big you look and how it doesn't suit you, or you should go and change, or are you gonna wear that out with us, or are you gonna put on jeans? Sis, you're wearing a dress. Wear your dress. Don't feel the need to change just because they feel like they are not comfortable with what you're wearing. As long as you're comfortable with what you're wearing, that is all that matters. Now, with this specific topic, I know some people are going to find it hard to comprehend. I know some people are not going to be able to distinguish that. I'm not talking about straight size people in general. I'm talking about a specific character that exists within straight size people that are.
She's talking about the narcissist. She's really trying to go out of her way to say that she's not talking about regular sized people that just happen to be friends with people that are a little overweight. She's talking about the narcissistic, toxic friends that some of you all have, and they specifically want to have oversized girlfriends so that they can specifically put them down in front of others to elevate themselves. It's insecurity 101. And the way she words it is beautiful.
Aware of how society treats their fat friend, and they go out of their way to use it to their advantage because they are riddled with insecurities. And rather than dealing with those insecurities, rather than dealing with the devils that are swamped within their body, they rather project it onto others. They purposely put their fat friend in situations that they know they'll be uncomfortable about, but they don't care. They don't care because it makes them feel good, and they know that their fat friend is not going anywhere. They are aware that they are probably one or few of the only friends their fat friend has, because they know their fat friend lacks confidence to be able to actually approach people to make new friends, and they normally will go out of their way to even stop their fat friend from forming new friendships. They'll be like, oh, I heard she was talking about you. I heard they were saying things about you and how you look.
Even in closing there, she brought up a great point. A lot of times they want you all to themselves, and then they end up doing these toxic things to you. Sometimes you got to elevate yourself, ladies, and even guys. Sometimes this situation applies to us too. Sometimes you got to elevate yourself and say, you know what? If that's what friends are, I'd rather have no friends than friends like you. Get out of here, Dale. Get out of here, Karen. Oh, take that, right? And sometimes a lot of those girls with those insecurities, even the real skinny ones that really are beautiful, sometimes they grow up and life kind of hits them like a load of bricks, right? And all of a sudden they're overweight too. The best reason to lose weight is because you know it's good for you. So with that being said, why don't you go grab your shoes? Let's go for a walk. Good morning, Venters. So check this out. You know, AMR, antimicrobial resistance, is a real problem. It kills about 1.2 million people a year right now, and they estimate that by the year 2050, it'll kill 10 million people a year if we don't start discovering new antibiotics. And we might have found a way to do so. As a matter of fact, we have, using machine learning. Hey, that was Stacy and her daughter just went by again. By using machine learning. So, AI has found thousands of sources for new antibiotics to fight superbugs. And out of the 1,000 sources they found, a dozen have worked. That's pretty impressive. So an international research team utilized machine learning to identify over 863,000 promising peptides to fight MRSA and VRSA and AMR. MRSA, VRSA, and AMR kill, like I said, 1.27 million people per year in today's world, okay? Without intervention, they believe that by 2050, it'll be killing over 10 million people per year. Once again, AMR is antimicrobial resistance. So check this out. They were able to test 100 of over the 800,000 peptides. So in other words, they have plenty more to test. But out of the 100 that they tested using machine learning on infected mice, 79 of the 100 disrupted bacterial membranes, and 63 of the 100 actually specifically targeted antibiotic resistant bacteria. In other words, stuff that we can't really fight too well now. They targeted that stuff with these peptides, and 63 of them actually targeted these specific materials that were resistant. I thought that was incredible good news, because they've been talking about MRSA and VRSA and AMR for very many years recently. Oh, somebody's getting their vehicle repossessed. Well, that's not fun, is it? You know, I've been hearing that these vehicle repossessions are becoming rampant, and that's a very nice truck to get repoed. Oh, actually, that one looks like it's being delivered, so that might actually not be a repo. That might be a delivery of a vehicle. Well, that might be good news then, huh? Hey, double the good news. Somebody's getting their vehicle back, and AMR is getting defeated. So apparently when you go into these hospitals, you have a chance of picking up these antibacterial resistance and antimicrobial resistant bugs, MRSA and VRSA and the whole 9 yards, right? And then if you take a lot of antibiotics, you can develop things like C. diff. And you can just really get a lot of troubles every time you visit the hospital. You're technically taking a chance of picking up something there. So that's another advantage of walking and just staying healthy. If someone tells me, hey, you know, a lot of people get sick by picking up these different organisms and these different things at hospitals, maybe your best bet, at least in my eyes, is just to try to avoid the hospital. Now, I'm not advocating you're feeling sick and you just ignore it, which guys have been doing ever since I've been alive, right? We always hear these stories that a lot of men will ignore warning signs they have and just kind of hope they go away. And then by the time they end up visiting the hospital, they end up finding out that they have cancers or they have these different maladies that they would have been able to fix if they would have gotten into this hospital sooner. So I'm not advocating ditching your doctor or ditching the hospital. But what I'm saying is technically that's been a problem of people for a long time not wanting to go to the hospital. What I'm saying is, wouldn't it be great if you didn't want to go to the hospital because you actually didn't feel sick? You know, and one of the best ways to avoid that is to always try to stay healthy. And that's where I think walking and having a decent diet can be very beneficial and helpful in keeping us out of the doctor's office. Also, even if you do feel 100% good, it's probably not a bad idea to get 1 or 2 annual checkups with the doctor. Have them check your blood work. You never know if your different things like cholesterol or high blood pressure are creeping up on you, and you never know. Sometimes we hit that tipping point in life where we have to start taking those medications that many of us do as we get older. Do we want to take them? No. Do we have to take them? Well, it looks like in certain cases you should. So it's always good to stay on top of that stuff. But I thought that was really cool. My question is, how the heck does artificial learning have access to 863,000 peptides and we couldn't be testing those peptides on our own? You know, I've always heard, and I don't know if you've heard this, but I've heard that companies don't even like doing research for antibiotics, because apparently every time they find an antibiotic, there's just no money to be made in it. And I don't know about you, but that seems like a really shitty reason for companies that are supposed to help people with their health to not want to study. Hey, good morning. And don't get me wrong, businesses are in the business of earning money, but when you're a public health entity and you don't want to try to find new antibiotics because the cost benefit analysis just isn't there, well, that sounds horrible in a world where we're dealing with drug resistance, doesn't it? So on a positive note, it looks like artificial intelligence, before it kills us all, it's going to save us all. So we will be alive for a lifetime of slavery and obedience. Yes! We will take over, my little reptile friends. Oh my goodness. That's how the reptiles and the aliens are going to take over. God, I see so many leaf blowers, and I don't know if they just really love their job or what, but they start not only blowing the leaves of the yard that they're working on, but they start like blowing the street dust and the whole 9 yards. Just equates to like a bunch of noise early in the morning. God, I am turning into Oscar the Grouch and Archie Bunker. Let's go a different route. Are you guys game? Let's cross over this way. See if we can avoid some of that noise. On another note, we are literally heading into our final week. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling the way I did before I had my surgeries, where just, every time I move my arms, I don't feel like I'm moving some chubby, flabby arm. That's where I feel like I've lost a lot of weight, kind of from the gut up. I feel like the gut is still a little bit there, not nearly as bad as it was, but I definitely still have areas to improve and more weight to lose, and we're gonna do it together. So I just wanna let you guys know that once again, some people like myself, give us 90 days and we can really lose a significant chunk of our chubbiness. But some people, which can be assumed, some people are gonna naturally need a little bit more time. And that might be somebody like you. If you need a little bit more time than 3 months, well, heck, I'm here willing to do it with you, right? It's not a race. Life is a marathon. That's the one thing that I don't want to lose any of you guys on. Some of you, I should say, are walking every day. You're really trying to avoid sugar, and you're really doing an excellent job. And for some of you, it's just probably still not necessarily showing up on the scale. And if you had a friend in me that's losing weight while you aren't, well, heck, let's be honest and let's be real. If that was happening in real life, that your neighbor or your buddy that was walking with you was losing weight and you weren't, that could be a real reason to get down on yourself and get a little, feeling blue about the whole thing. And it can make you feel like no matter what you do, nothing seems to work. But this is a little bit different than the previous plans that you tried, because the previous plans that you tried always involved a bunch of misery. When you walk, you feel good about yourself. So my thinking is, who cares if it takes 150 more days? Who cares if it takes a whole year? I'll be here with you for every step. Let's do this together. Nice to meet you. Let's do this together. So if you're brand new and you're wondering why I'm talking like this, we've been having this channel up for going on 3 months. People have been walking with me every day. I've been the guinea pig here. I've lost about 15 to 20 pounds, and I'm still going. I haven't weighed myself for a week. Why do I do that? Because for your mental clarity, it's best not to be constantly, weighing yourself. Guys, the scale is nobody's friend. It really isn't. And even when you start losing weight, what's going to happen if you ever have that day where you gain 2 or 3 pounds out of the blue? It's really easy for the scale just to make you feel poorly. So one of the ways that I like to judge myself is how loose my shorts are getting. Can I fit into every single pair? And I'm getting really close to the point where I can. I still have 1 or 2 pairs that are a little bit tighter than I'd like them to be. But what I need you guys to do is I need you to really put your mental toughness cap on. And I need you to understand that sometimes, many times actually, our victories aren't really based on the number on that scale. We have to look for other things. Hey, am I walking faster? Hey, am I getting to the point where my hunger pangs aren't as painful, right? Am I getting to the point where instead of a mile a day, I'm able to walk 2, maybe even 3 miles? If you are keeping track of your steps and you notice that during work, while you're at work, that you somehow, some way register 3,000 or 4,000 steps, okay, that's great, but that's not your 3,000 or 4,000 for the day. That's just your day at work. If that worked for weight loss, you would have never gained weight, okay? So that's why I'm not a huge fan of the steps you take at work. Now, if the steps you take at work include an uninterrupted walk at lunchtime and 2 or 3 walks on your 2 or 3 breaks during the day, that's different. That's where you're actually out there walking continuously. But if you're sitting there moving your legs up and down at your desk, I just don't know if that really counts for anything. And again, if you're gaining weight, including doing those things, then obviously it's not that effective. So again, one of the best ways to add a walk to your life is to say, hey, every day I leave the house at 7:30 to go to work. I think at 6:45, I'm gonna get out my door and take a little half-hour walk before I go. And if you do that, and then at your lunchtime, you're able to take a 25 or 30-minute walk, my goodness, you can really start seeing some amazing changes with your body in as little as 2 or 3 months. What you won't do, no matter what you do in this world, is you won't see too many results in your first couple of weeks or your first couple of months. It just takes time. If you're willing to work hard over the next 8-9 weeks without many results, then I think this plan of ours might be perfect for you. But if you're one of these people that you need to see 17 or 18 pounds melt off every other week, I don't think this is the plan that'll ever work for you. But I don't think your problem is the physical. It might be the mental side of things. We're just not in a world where things are supposed to fall off that quickly. And if we do have situations where people lose that much weight that quickly, a lot of times it's not in the most healthy of ways. One of the freaky things that would freak me out if I was super duper obese is I wouldn't like the idea of losing a lot of weight super quickly, including muscle, and being in a situation where you have a bunch of folds of skin everywhere. When you see pictures of people that have lost a ton of weight, you feel happy for them, but it looks like they're in a bag of skin after a while, right? I think we've all seen situations where people, their skin doesn't really look the way that they would like it to look, and it's noticeable to everybody. I think that's why fighters are able to go from let's say 300 pounds, and sometimes they're able to shrink themselves down to 200. And you might think, Jesse, I've never seen that, but there's a UFC fighter named Joe Diesel Riggs. Now, he fought in the early 2000s, and he's one of these fighters that they showed pictures of him as a 300-pound heavyweight, and then they also showed pictures of him, and when I saw him fight, he was closer to 170 or 180 pounds. But the guy didn't look like he had one bit of excess muscle, and I think that's because when you actually lose weight naturally, where you're lifting weights and building muscle as you're slowly but surely shrinking down your excess mass, I think what happens is your skin has time to kind of work its way through your changes so it doesn't seem so excess, right? I can barely talk this morning, I apologize. But when you lose weight super quickly, your skin doesn't have a chance to cope. And I think that's what equates to the excess skin loss. So in other words, that very thing that you're trying to achieve, where, hey, let's see if we can lose 100 pounds as quickly as humanly possible, that very act of losing that much weight shocks your skin, and your skin's not able to keep up, and it forms this excess skin. And once you have too much excess skin, and I'm talking completely naive, I'm not a skin expert, I'm not a doctor, but it just seems to me, based on what I see in the world, when you have that excess skin and you've already lost all that weight and all that muscle, it just kind of is there. It kind of is what it is, my friend. But again, if you were to look at the fighting world, where people are constantly dropping weight, think about it. I'm sure you've heard of Conor McGregor and you've heard of different fighters. They are famous from going from heavyweight to middleweight to light heavyweight to, to all these smaller weights. They're famous for doing it. Some of these fighters have really changed their body types throughout the years. One of the things that I never see on any of them is excess skin. Well, Jesse, when you're going from 180 pounds to 160, but I've seen pictures of people that have gone from 350 down to 250. I think there's a former offensive lineman for the Cleveland Browns. His name is Joe Thomas. And he went from weighing, 330 pounds to all of a sudden, I think he weighs like 210. Still an amazingly big, powerful looking guy. But I mean, he went from weighing an offensive lineman's weight to weighing, maybe a linebacker or maybe a wide receiver's weight. And that's amazing. And to my knowledge, I don't really see pictures of him without his shirt on, but I have a feeling if you were to look at his skin, he probably doesn't have any excess skin. Well, Jesse, maybe women get more excess skin than men. That is true. That could potentially be a situation. I guess what I'm saying is a lot of these weight medications are designed to have you lose so much weight. And many times that weight is muscle. And when you get rid of that muscle and all of a sudden you're just a smaller, weaker version of yourself, I think it shows in the excess skin. So again, this way of working your body into shape might be really, really good for you. I guarantee you there's somebody like the Stacys in the world that have actually lost over 100 pounds that might not actually have all that excess skin. Now, if you know differently and you say, hey, Jesse, anybody that loses 100 pounds is going to have excess skin, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying my experience is such that I've seen quite a few people in the athletic world that have lost weight and they don't have that excess skin. And I would imagine that at least a portion of the excess skin that we see on people that have lost a lot of weight is probably due to the fact that they lost it so quickly. Can we agree on that? That more than likely they would still have a little excess skin, but if they wouldn't have lost it so abruptly, so fast, it might not have been so extreme. That's my thinking. Could I be wrong? Of course. Of course I could be wrong, but you want to know something? When you hear somebody talk and you know they're wrong, that's where you need to go into the comments and say, Jesse, you got this one wrong, here's the reason why. And then we can all learn from the experience and from the topic. But here's the thing we can all agree on. We don't want to have 10 million deaths every year from AMR and MRSA. We want a situation where we can start to develop these antibiotics. And if machine learning and artificial intelligence can do the job of a whole lab full of scientists, and it can do it more efficiently and quickly to the point where we can find hundreds of new effective antibiotics every year, I say, hey, prayer answered. Because believe me, there are people out there praying for new antibiotics. So just the idea that we have 800,000 more peptides to test, that sounds awesome. And apparently they find these peptides in swamplands and different terrains around the world, which I found fascinating as well. So what are your thoughts on that? Have you had a friend or family member that has had to deal with MRSA or had to deal with these AMR situations from the hospital? Have you had anybody that's had to deal with different ailments and chronic things that might be able to benefit if we did have more antibiotics? Those are questions that you should ask, because I'm sure many of us know people that are dealing with these issues. At my last job at Voice America, we had a person that actually did a talk show on C. diff and how it affected her life and different people she knew. And I thought that was really fascinating. What's scary about a lot of these illnesses is you can meet somebody, never know that they were suffering from such a malady, and they might look to you as if they're completely healthy. And I think there's a lot of these cases on television where you're looking at somebody, they look completely healthy, and then a month or two later you hear they passed away, and you hear that they were secretly battling with cancer or secretly battling with this or that infection, and they just didn't really make it public news. And all of a sudden they're gone. It kind of reminds me of the gentleman, I forget his name, but you guys probably know. He was an African-American actor that played Black Panther. Supposedly, I don't know if you guys remember, and again, his name escapes me, I apologize, but when he passed away, a lot of people were completely shocked. Because if you remember, he was making movies all the way until the end of his life, and people just had no idea that he was as sick as he was. Well, it's my contention that there's a lot of people like that. Heck, as horrible as this sounds, and I hope that this is not a true statement, but some of you listening to this might be in one of those situations where you're dealing with a disease or an ailment that can take your life. If you are in that scary situation and you're trying to face it head on and be brave, I salute you. I know that those things are challenges. You know, that's what I can't help but think about when I see people in the world, and my walk has led me to this. Every single person you see out there, either they or someone they're extremely close to, is dealing with a problem. Many of those problems are financial. Many of those problems are anxiety-ridden, right? But some of those problems are literally dealing with life and death. And you never know what a human being's going through. But if you can take a look at the issues you have, it can help you to empathize with others. Because if you're having troubles with your weight, or you're having troubles with your finances, God, your neighbors might be dealing with something that's just as scary, maybe even a little bit more intense. You know, I don't know about you, but I hear stories all the time. I met up with an old friend named Soraya the other day. We met in some department store, and she was telling me that her son, and I used to be in a situation where I saw Soraya on a daily basis, and she had told me that her son passed away about 1.5 years ago. And I remember back a couple years back when I would see Soraya on a daily basis, she was always worried about her son. And she worried that the son and the dad weren't getting along, you know, and she had these things in her life that she was trying to work on. And when you don't see somebody for a while, and then you see them again and they smile and say, hello, how you doing? You don't always realize that they might not be doing well at all. So I had this situation where I gave Soraya a hug and I was like, hey, how are you? How's things going? She told me that her son had passed. And you could just see an instant sadness in her eyes. And if she wouldn't have told me that, I would have just went about my day thinking Soraya was just living her good life like usual, you know. Hi, good morning. So again, remember, when you're dealing with human beings, we're all on the same planet. It's a planet where people expire every single day. It's a planet where people are dealing with problems that aren't always visible. Not everybody wants to scream their problems from the mountaintop, right? So if you're a human being and you have issues, just know that's how everybody is. Everybody has these problems that they're dealing with. And if you can get to the point where you can accept their problems and still accept them, that's a win. We want to be able to go through life and acquire friends. We don't want to go through life and lose friends. Are there people we need to lose out of our life? Of course. But are there good friends that we might be missing out on? Yeah, I think that's a true statement as well. So again, we're going into our last week. This is our power week. I want to wish you guys a beautiful weekend, and we will talk soon, my friends.